Okay, look like I'm running a little late tonight, but I am here. It kind of reminds me when we were working for Singular Wireless back in the day. We had a corporate basketball team. Our record was something like 6-4 for the season. So by stat wise, we had a winning season. But what most people do not know is that four of those games, the other team didn't show. So we won by default. So we really only won one real game. So that kind of reminds me of how tonight is. 50% is about showing up. So I showed up tonight, and let's go. Yeah, tonight is a little challenging, man. I was trying to get ready, and I just couldn't really get myself together, and I really, honestly, almost thought I wasn't going to do it tonight because for those of you who don't know, this is like a social experiment for me. This is literally me facing, whatever this whole journey that I'm on. It is, it's about me going from where I am to me starting this tech company. When we did Soul Damage was kind of like our thing because it was done so publicly. I didn't know what I was doing, and I think it was successful because it was community. But what I did not like about it was it's like I was learning in front of everybody, and that bothered me. I did not like that, and because of you hear me talk about the hidden one archetype a lot. It doesn't want to be seen. You don't want to be seen. Not vulnerable in any sense, or you're afraid of being successful because now you feel like there are more eyes. Exposure is a great fear. So when I felt like God was pushing me in this direction to create this tech company, what kept coming to me over and over again was what I was afraid of. It's like, well, what if it's successful? And then people start expecting something from you. Or what if it fails and you do it publicly? So what I decided to do was if I really believe that you can become anything that, God has ordained you to be, then why don't I do this publicly as well? Why don't I say, hey, these are the things that got me from not knowing anything about film to becoming a filmmaker. If I truly believe that, then I can do this out in front of you all and say, hey, I'm going to build a very successful tech company. And it's not because I'm so talented. It's because these are the principles that guided me from becoming someone who didn't know anything about film to becoming a filmmaker. So I'm doing this for two reasons. I'm doing this to heal publicly, and I'm also doing this to lay a blueprint for those of you who dare to jump out and dream. A lot of times we get the highlight reel. I'm not giving you the highlight reel. I'm giving you all the ugly stuff. I'm giving you the things like tonight. I didn't want to come on because I was terrified. I mean, I was afraid, and there's a lot of good stuff that's happening, but a lot of that good stuff has me terrified, quite honestly. And I said, well, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to deal with how we're feeling tonight, and we're going to talk about how we're going to overcome this and tell you at the same time what we got going on. So, right off this, I don't think we've talked really since the film festival. I think, yeah, we did talk last week from the film festival, but the film festival was interesting. We launched Soar TV, and for those of you who don't know what Soar TV is, that's the tech company that we're launching. We're launching our own digital streaming platform. This platform has about um, four patents attached to it at this point. There's probably about 4 or 5 more that are going to be attached. And from what the tech world is saying so far, it's something they've never seen before. And we're very excited about it, and we're walking through this process. But it's not as easy as you would think. You would think, well, okay, you got something great. Why not be excited about it? But that's because we're wired so differently. Soul Damage was not easy for me. Soul Damage, even though it looked like it was a great project, and it still is, but it was very difficult because I was not wired for success. I was wired for struggle. I was wired for fighting. Now I know how to fight. But when you start winning, then you don't know what to do with yourself. I didn't know what to do with myself because I'm like, wait a minute, you mean people believe in me, really? Like they're expecting me to succeed at this point? And I did not know how to do, I didn't know how to deal with it because I was no longer the underdog. I was so married to the story of being an underdog that I didn't know how to function as a winner. And that was one of the greatest lessons that I have learned. I got sad when Soul Damage exploded. And the reason I got sad, and this is going to make a lot of sense to some of you all, I was not willing to let go of who I was to now accept who I was becoming. I was not willing to let go of some of the people that were with me in struggle, that were not ready to thrive and soar. And I didn't want to leave them behind because I felt like I was doing them. I felt like I was betraying them. I felt like I was betraying where I came from. I felt like I was betraying all this stuff. And this stuff wired in my head. If it had not been for the grace of God, would have caused me to totally sabotage everything that I'm doing. And it did to a certain degree, but like I say, God's grace prevented the worst from happening. So I'm having to work through all of that right now because this is one of the greatest opportunities that I've been blessed with in my life. And I have to work through this. This is nervous system rewiring 101 that is happening in front of you all right now. And that is really what's stopping some of you all from reaching your goals. It's not because you're not talented enough, because you look around and you can tell you have the talent. But why is it not happening? And I'm here to tell you that most of the time, 99% of the time, it is because the wiring is wrong and you are unwilling to let go of who you had to be to get here, survival. Who you had to be to survive cannot be the same person that you're going to be as you soar and thrive and become successful. You have to become someone else. You have to become the person on the other side of that. And I didn't know how to do that. But we have some good stuff to share tonight. I don't know how long is this going to be, but we're going to be honest. We're going to talk about these things. I'm going to try to answer some of the questions that you got. This is kind of therapeutic for me in a lot of ways, but hey, I'm just going to be honest tonight, and we're going to see what happens because I have no idea, because this is so unlike me, because I don't like doing anything without knowing exactly what I'm going to do. And this is live, and I can't hide, and I have to face this stuff and go through it. So y'all be patient with me. I'm going to be as real as I can, and hopefully this is going to help some folks. But before we start getting into the thick of things, we have an event coming up. We have an event that's coming up next Tuesday. We have the screening of the Colleen Sanders story, From Darkness to Light, in Brookhaven. If you didn't know it, hey, it's happening next Tuesday, Brookhaven, at the Mississippi School of the Arts at 6:30. So check out the trailer. Okay. Hold on. Here we go.
Look, I know how hard you had it and all of what you've been through. But I knew you were special the first time I laid eyes on you.
'Cause your love is the only place for me.
Stop with the pity party. You are the only person you got to be concerned with, all right? You and that little girl.
That's when my heart is free. Where else is there for me? Where else is there? Where else is there for me?
So if you're near the Brookhaven area next Tuesday at 6:30, come on through. This is absolutely free. We're going to be there. We're going to be talking about this great project. We're also going to be talking about where we're going with this project. So we're going to be sharing about what's happening with Soar TV and how this is going to be one of the corner projects for the platform. And we're going to use it to build around. But it's a lot of exciting things to do that are happening at this time. One of them is investors have been calling me every day. Potential investors have been calling me every day. And I know that should be really exciting. But it has had my emotions up and down since we launched last Friday, since we launched at the festival 2 Fridays ago. It has really been vexing, to be quite honest with you. And before I kind of get into the heart of that, I kind of want to, I don't know if y'all saw the promo about the launch of the platform and what we're going to do. And I want you to see this very confident guy who's talking at the mic. And then we're going to talk about how confident he really was and what I was really feeling. So here is the promo for, do I have it here? Yes, I do. Here we go.
I started saying I was going to be a filmmaker. They said we couldn't do it. When we said we was going to make a film festival, they said we couldn't do it. We've done consistently what they said we could. We're entering the media tech space. Since they won't give us distribution, we done pre-it out. We have 4 pending patents on this project, 6 ordered, 18 new innovations, 2 new categories that never existed before. We're not going to beg anymore for a place at the table. Those days are over. They should have gave us a seat. I am not coming to participate. I'm coming to dominate. Da Vinci died poor because the people of the time did not understand him. We have one simple thing: be your truth, and we will attract your tribe. God bless you. Thank you all for coming out for the Jackson Film Festival tonight. I hope you enjoyed it.
Cool promo, man. Yeah, when you look at that guy seemed like he was in control of the room, seemed like he was well commanded. I was angry. And that's where I know how to function from. I know how to function from anger. That's what I know because I'm a fighter. I've always been trained to be a fighter. So that I was angry. If those of you who were there, you realize there were a couple times I had to stop because my emotions were really getting the best of me, and that I felt anger. And that anger and passion, I heard years ago that passion is where rage and love meet. Well, I got that down. But it was in those moments where I did not, in these moments like this, where I have to be settled because that kind of anger and passion is not sustainable. And I can't stay in it all the time. And that's why I was burning out so much on the first rip with Soul Damage, because that's all I knew how to function through. I knew how to function through the anger and the passion. But you cannot be angry and passionate 24 hours a day. And Soul Damage wasn't a quick run. It was a marathon. So there was a lot of ups and downs and ebbs and flows. And I'm trying to learn from that. I'm trying to regulate who I am in my nervous system so I can sustain this and operate in the natural flow of what's happening. So this has been interesting to me because I started getting really triggered when I started getting a lot of people calling every day here for the last week or so saying, hey, how can I invest? Can we get a meeting? And I booked my first meeting. The investor, they want to invest. They see the potential. And what I think I'm going to do if I don't chicken out on this live is that I'm going to go through the pitch with you. It's not perfect yet, and I hadn't done the pitch formally. But I said, if I'm going to overcome these fears, then I'm going to do this in real time. I'm going to go all the way in. So if I don't chicken out, I'm going to do the pitch before we get out. I'm going to go through the slides and talk to you about how this is revolutionary, talk about how this is going to disrupt the film world and distribution as a whole. As if I don't chicken out. I don't believe I'm a chicken out, but you never can tell. It's been tough. It's been tough today. So those of you who are prayers, I'm asking that you pray now because even in this moment, I feel so uneasy. And I think what got me here was when I started thinking about Soul Damage and I started thinking about the investing thing, I realized I was being triggered. When I did Soul Damage, we had investors, and because the movie did not pick up distribution, I didn't get a return. I didn't get a return to those investors, and that damaged me. That devastated me, and I felt like a failure. And I have been turning money down probably since 2018. No, probably since 2016. I have had people coming to me trying to get me money for years, and I wouldn't take it because I was afraid that I couldn't come through. So that's one of the reasons that this has been so painful. And so triggering because I know we have a great product, but that fear is there. And then, quite honestly, it wasn't fear, it was shame. I felt shame, man. I mean, like today, when I started feeling that pit in my stomach, I realized this is shame. And I had not wanted to take these investors' money. And I know that sounds crazy, but that's where I've been. That's what's been happening. All these years, these 10 years, I've been trying to bootstrap it. I paid for most of the stuff on my own. I went out and worked for the money, didn't deprive myself so we could make these projects and do stuff and try to make a fair exchange. But this project is not going to require that. Those people who invested in me, I appreciated them and I love them for it. And I really think that this platform is going to be the redemption for all of that. Because I never would sell Soul Damage because I knew what it was worth. And when I looked at the project is still as good today, if not better than a lot of the stuff that's out there. But more importantly, the subject matter still has not been broached. So I had to deal with myself before I got on and realize I think this is God's way of saying, hey, we're going to redeem the time. You're going to put Soul Damage on Soar TV. You're going to redeem all those things. But I'm telling you, it triggered me today, man. I mean, to the point that I almost didn't come on. But I'm going to show you some of my favorite scenes from Soul Damage. These are little quick things. And this is, when we were doing this was kind of letting me know, oh, we really have something here. So this is a coffee scene here with the main character, Sirius, and his love interest. And it was just beautiful to me because I could really feel the chemistry for the first time. And I want you to look at it. I'm still very proud of this. And a lot of people have not seen this, but I promise you, when we get Soar TV up, Soar TV is going to be redeemed on this platform. Okay? So check this out.
Why do you think Neil deGrasse Tyson is so popular?
Those crazy vests he wears.
Yes.
What? No, he is a genius.
He is interesting and relatable.
But he is a genius.
And so are you.
I don't really know how to love like you saw in the movies. But what I do know is I'll try if you choose me.
Why did you do that?
Do what?
Smell your food before you eat it.
Just an old habit.
I mean, I've always loved that scene because it was like where I could really feel the chemistry. I could see the chemistry between the two love interests. I also wrote the song. The song that you hear playing in the background, Come Back, is an original that I wrote and arranged. And I have every reason to be proud of that. But I have struggled because I have walked in the guilt and the fear and thinking I'm not good enough. And I felt like I was still struggling with imposter syndrome. And even though no matter how many times people told me that this was great, that this is wonderful, like we can't wait to see this, even when my kids like, oh man, this dad, I can't believe you did this. There was still that struggle within me because I didn't think I was good enough, quite honestly, because I'm like, I can't be good because I've never done this before. And that's how I felt. And that was the lie that I was choosing to believe and I was struggling with. But when we've been chosen to do something, it's not even about us anymore. It's not even about it. It's so much bigger than we are. And when I tell people this, when you start operating in fear, and I've been operating in fear, so it hits me first. It is one of the most selfish things that we could be doing because we're only thinking about ourselves. We're only thinking about how we look. We're only thinking about how we are going to look in this. But can I tell you, and I'm preaching to myself at this moment, there has never, ever been a time I have screened this movie and there wasn't a man who came to me and said, hey, that's me, or a woman who've come to me and said, that's me. And they said, this has saved my life. Not once, not one time have I screened it and that has happened. And, you would think that's what I'm thinking about. But sometimes you're so caught up in your own fears and the things you're struggling with that you don't realize that this was never about you in the first place. And I think that's the trap that we get into. Man, this is this is so much bigger than I am. Your dreams are never just about you. They're never just about paying your bills. There's somebody that's looking at you and they're waiting. There's somebody who's waiting on you to get free of all these fears, all these doubts, all these things, because you're going to be the inspiration they need to go do something else. And those are the things I have to remind myself in this time. That's what I'm reminding myself right now as I feel the anxiety of base, as I feel this sickness that I felt in my stomach earlier today, as I said, leave. And these are the things I have to do. I have to remind myself, why am I doing this? Why was I even chosen to do this? Was it for is it for the likes? Is it for so people can pat me? Was it for external validation? No, I didn't do this for that. Even though that's the trap that I may fall into sometimes. But I really did this because I really believed that this was a story that needed to be told. I really believed that this was something that I was supposed to do. Just like I believe that this tech company is something that I'm supposed to do, because they're not giving us a fair shake. They're not going to give us a seat at the table. We got to build our own table. We got to do this. And I got to do this for my kids. I got to do this so they can see Dad didn't quit. I got to let them see that, I faced my fears and I didn't think I was going to make it, but I kept showing up just like that corporate basketball team. We were lousy, but we kept showing up and we got the W because we showed up. And that's what I'm doing tonight. I'm showing up in spite of. So I'm going to show you this other scene because this is the one that got me today, because I wrote this song. It's called Wonderful. It's a gospel song for the church scene in the church, for the church scene. But the words were so apropos right now. Love is so wonderful. And it shows the comedy of Palmer Williams, his comedy, his range. And I also was so very proud to see Samelia and Jeremy Chico Hodge in this scene. They had never acted before, but they are right here holding their own with Palmer Williams. I mean, you couldn't tell who was the rookie. You couldn't tell who was the vet. They were holding their own with this guy. And it wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have said yes. If I wouldn't have said yes to what I was doing, they wouldn't have had this experience. So I want to share this with you right now. Tell me what you think.
Why are we here?
Yeah.
I mean, how's this gonna help us learn anything else about Sirius?
Do you know where this pastor man lives?
No.
When you don't know anything about a person, like where they live, you go to their job. So shut up and let me do all the thinking for y'all. Hurt yourselves.
Are you telling us shut up in church? Are you cussing in church? Ooh, I'm gonna move because he gonna strike you with something. He can get a 2-for-1 and strike both of y'all dead.
I had something else planned, but I feel God leading me in another direction. Sister Sheila, will you please give us a selection?
You've been a father, you've been a mother, you've been a sister, you've been a brother, you've been a father, you've been a mother, you've been a sister, you've been a brother. You're wonderful. You're so wonderful. All I can say is that you're wonderful. So many nights I cried myself to sleep, but you were right there.
Phil, what you doing? I know you ain't crying.
When I didn't understand, you've always been right there. You've always loved me.
Gary. Stop playing, Gary. You're taking this too far.
You've been good to me, better than I've been to myself. You're wonderful, so wonderful.
God bless you, sister. Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming. Mr. Jackson. It's always a pleasure. Yes, ma'am.
We in line. Thank you.
Palmer kept us laughing. He kept us laughing. But that song, man, today it hit different. You know, it hit different because I knew this stuff needed to come up. I knew the guilt, the shame, all of it needed to come up. And it hurt. Quite honestly, it hurted. And this is so necessary, you know, to move forward. And, you know, and a lot of times we don't want to face those dark places in our life, but I had to face mine today. I had to face it and say, you know, this is guilt, man. You know, you're feeling guilt because you felt like you failed. You felt like you didn't accomplish what you were setting out to be accomplished. But I think about the scripture when it says that the vision is set aside for an appointed time. And I'm starting to feel like that appointed time is coming to us now. But what I do know is I'm going to keep showing up. What I do know, I'm going to keep doing this as wildly uncomfortable as it is, because I want to be whole in this pursuit. I don't want to be moving from a place of being broken. You know, I want to come from a place of being whole. That's why I'm not trying to rush this process. That's why I keep facing these uncomfortable moments. That's why I keep coming to live when I know this is something that is terrifying for me, because I don't like to be seen in a light where I'm not. I don't think I'm in the best light. But growing is messy. You know, growing is messy. Growing in public is not always pretty. You know, we always are so caught up in people's highlight reels that I said, you know, I got to do this because I need my kids to really see that it's not always pretty. You know, it's sometimes winning and growing and succeeding. It's not always a pretty thing. Sometimes you're gonna stumble along the way. And, you know, I always look at these people and they say, I never doubted. You know, I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt it's going to happen. You know, and I'm not saying they're wrong. It just happened to be my testimony. There have been plenty of times I've doubted. There are times I'm doubting this now. And but God always comes in and he does something amazing. But the biggest thing is that, you know, I've had to learn something that I didn't know how to do. And that's learn how to be graceful with myself. I've had to learn, how do I treat myself well? I wasn't a very good friend of me. I didn't know how to love me correctly, you know, so I can see how a lot of my relationships in the past suffered because I didn't know how to love me. I didn't know. I felt like abandonment was the worst thing, but when I found out I was the one that was doing the abandoning, then, you know, a light bulb went off and I said, well, okay, how can I be better to me? How can I be a better friend to me? And becoming a better friend to me and learning how to love myself has been one of the most transformative things. And I think I know that's why all these opportunities are happening for me. So I am going to go through this pitch, you know, this is a challenge, but I'm going to go through the pitch tonight. I'm going to show you the slides. I'm going to talk about the things. There are some corrections that are going to be made to this. That we had some people kind of check out. I didn't get a chance to make the corrections, so I'm just going to go with what we have tonight. But this is going to be the pitch that we talk to the investors about. This is going to be the pitch that we show everyone about the value of SOAR TV. Okay, so here we go. So here we go with the slide of SOARTV.ai, powered by FilmFlow 7. If you do get a chance, there's a wait list that you can get on. If you are an artist or you want to be a potential investor, you can go to the website. That's www.soartv.ai. So we jump right in. I don't know if I can make this bigger. I hope I can read. I might put my glasses on. Says it's better than Tubi. And the reason that I did this was most people know about Tubi, but what a lot of you don't know is that in March of 2020, Tubi sold for $440 million in cash to Fox. So Tubi is now owned by Fox. It started just like what we're doing right now. It started as an independent streaming service. And after it grew, Fox saw the value in it and gave those boys $440 million in cash. In 2024, Tubi was projected to make $1 billion in revenue for that fiscal year. So that has been, folks laugh about saying that's a Tubi movie, but Tubi is every bit of success. And trust me, those boys have made a lot of money. So SOAR TV, powered by FilmFlow 7, is a pipeline where independent filmmakers, artists, musicians, and entrepreneurs, our acronym called FAME, can leverage their IP for funding and monetization. This is like Match.com for film, audiences, and brand. So our proprietary technology, it literally finds the based off of what the storyline is, it pulls in the people and the audience to one place. So a lot of times we don't have a distribution problem. What we have is a recognition problem. That no matter how good someone is, they're just not getting out there. And when you start looking at Facebook and how YouTube is done, their job is to suppress you so you can buy more ads. What our platform does is it exposes that to what people want. And we just think that's fair. If people want to laugh, they need to find the movies that are funny. If people want to cry, they need to find the movies that move them emotionally. And what our algorithm does is bypass all that and connects the people and the brand, so everyone is happy. So the slogan is: we don't create content. We don't just create content. We create economies inside the content, where every story is a marketplace, every artist is a business, and every audience is a consumer base. All right. So we're going to the next slide. How do we make money? Very good question. This is what the investors are going to want to know. We make money from audience discovery and distribution revenue. So the filmmakers, they put their project out there and they get a part of the ad revenue. So when the advertisers come in, they get a part. Brand integration, sponsorship, and ad revenues. Brands can pay to be connected to the stories and align with their values and organic product placement. So when you see a movie, and you see they have Cadillacs in it, like Matrix. Those people had to pay for that. But what it does is it makes people want to go out and buy a Cadillac. You see products and you want to go get them. So what makes our platform a lot different is that we have a shoppable story layer, a commerce revenue. We call it the marketplace. So if you see something on our platform, like glasses or coat or a jacket, you could actually buy it. You can buy it there in real time. And also the other thing that is going to be very important is the data, because companies want to know data. The entrepreneurs and the filmmakers, they want to know as well. They want to know, like, well, what am I learning from this customer? And our proprietary technology is second to none. It is really organized data in such a way that we are not guessing, but we really understand where the consumer is coming from, where the company is coming from, where the filmmaker is coming from. So traditional product placement, to kind of give you some understanding of how this works. 86% of U.S. marketers who have used product placements rate it highly, and 91% find it effective in reaching folks. So let's take during the 2020 push. 1.2 billion and equivalent ad value was placed in product placement in films. Reese's Pieces, when E.T. came out, saw a 65% increase in sales. Ray-Bans went from 8,000 in sales that year to 360,000 when Risky Business came on. Etch-a-Sketch, out of all things, Etch-a-Sketch skyrocketed by 1,400% after Toy Story came out. And Chevy Camaros, and my sister can attest to this, when Transformers came out, they went up 80,000 in sales. 80,000 more cars were sold that year because of what was in Transformers. So product placement works. But what we're offering is something far greater than product placement. It is called the marketplace. 75% of U.S. consumers follow up by searching for a product that they saw on TV. Listen to that number again. People that watch something on television go and look for it. 75% of the people who watch something, they go and look for that product somewhere on television, right? 57% end up making a purchase. That's crazy. So what our platform does, you don't have to even go look for it. You can buy it directly off the screen. So if 75% of the consumers are looking for something that they saw on television, just imagine what they're going to feel like when they don't even have to go search offline. They can literally go and purchase it on our. That is a proprietary technology that we have the patents for, and that is to our platform. And it's revolutionary. How much so? I'm going to explain it like this. When I pulled the data, I didn't even pull the data for the whole United States. I said, we're just going to focus on the facts in the Southeast, because I'm mostly dealing with people that's here in Mississippi for right now. So I'm saying, hey, if we can just get Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina, right? The Southeast. There are 77 million people in the U.S. 23% of that is the Southeast. 65% of that are watching streaming networks. That's 50 million people that are actively streaming. Regional ad spending is $28 billion. 22% of the U.S. digital audio is spent and concentrated in just the Southeast, right? So if we take that 75% that are looking for products and then 59 that buy it, if FilmFlow 7 enables smarter placement and direct purchase links and even capturing 1%, let's say we only capture 1% of this, that's 240,000 transactions annually at an average price of $50 of value. That's 10.7 million in facilitated commerce in just the Southeast. That's 10% market penetration. That is 100 million annually. And we're just talking about the Southeast. Data is also a gold mine. What companies are paying for data, they're basically spending $20 to $40 per user and ad place target. So with 50 million active Southeast streamers, the regional data value pool equates to $1.2 to $2 billion a year. If FilmFlow 7 captures just 5% of that data, that's $50 to $100 million annually in the Southeast alone. That's just moderate. So if we get the right type of investors to invest in what we're doing to help us build this platform out that we need, this technology can literally change the game. So what we're about the film, the fan, and the brand. You know, think of us as like Match.com in a dating app, right? But instead of people, FilmFlow 7 matches three things: stories, audiences, and brands. We don't just say, hey, this is a comedy, so mark to comedy fans. Instead, we analyze the DNA of the story itself, its emotional frequency, themes, and energy, and then match it to the audience that is meant to reach. And we also offer that marketplace opportunity. So we have the data side of it, and then we also have the market. So we believe that this is going to be the future of storytelling. We think that this is going to be based off our Resonance technology, and we think it's going to change the way people shop, because I literally can see people saying, hey, I'm just going to watch this movie to see what products I can buy. I see it changing the way people shop, that they're not just looking at movies anymore just to enjoy the content. They're looking at the movies to see what type of artwork is on the walls, what type of jewelry they're selling. I think this is going to be a QVC meets entertainment thing, and I really believe it. So that is my spin for tonight. That is the pitch for the platform. And listen, I am open for if you have any questions to talk about this. That was the rough run through, and we're going to keep working on it. And also, let me show you the website real quick. Oh, that's not it. Where did I get the website? Let's see here. Well, anyway, you can go to the website at www.soartv.ai. And if you are an artist, when we launch beta, we're going to start at about 50 filmmakers, artists, costume designers, wherever you are. We're going to start out with about 50 projects. And then we're gonna beta test this until the next festival, and we're gonna roll it out. We're gonna take all the time we can. We're gonna keep working on those things and make it the way it needs to be. And we're gonna also host investors. So if you are a potential investor or know someone who's a potential investor, go to the website, sign up on the waiting list, click investor. And those of you who don't know this, that sometimes there's a brokerage fee if you help close the deal. So if you refer someone, then there's a piece of the pie that you can get because you brought them to the table. So keep that in mind. So I don't know if any of you all have any questions. I don't see any questions so far, so I'm gonna let the system catch up. But if you have any questions at this time, I will be more than happy to answer them. And thank you all for hanging in here with me. See my mama saying that you can't take your time. Time is running out. No, Esther, I do not see any questions other than what my mother just said. I see people commenting, but I don't see any questions. So I know that it takes a little time for this to pick up. But hey, I feel better. I hope that we said something tonight that make you see things in a different way. We hope that it was beneficial. We know you could be spending your time anywhere. You didn't have to be here with me. But we are definitely, trying to make some things happen. Said Aditra had a question. Let's see. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, it's moved up. I had let me see. Where is the inventory housed? Is the purchase link to a different sites? So, okay, that's a good question. What we are doing, we're going to be creating relationships with independent sellers. What we have now, we have stuff that's connected to Amazon from darkness to light. But let's say you sell jewelry, then we can work out that deal with you and the filmmaker up front and have your stuff in it. So a lot of the stuff from films that's been made, we're going to have to go find the retailers of that and create agreements. But we actually could go back and redo even the old movies with this technology and just create the agreements and have it run through our system. So what eventually would happen was it'll be all in-house, but it would be relationships built with independent vendors outside, independent vendors. And then we would pretty much, they'll sell through our network and we'll get a piece, they'll get a piece, and artists get a piece. So I hope that answered your question, Aditra. Thank you, Sinette. Yeah, this is phenomenal. It absolutely is. Are there any other questions? I've been told that I rushed through a little bit, don't give people a chance to ask a question or say what they need to say, so I'm trying to slow down. But these are very exciting times. Like I said, we had the first investors meeting. I didn't have the pitch deck ready, but they believed in what we were doing, so that they've already committed. And I know by accepting that, there's definitely is no turning back, because I'm determined to do everything that we have to do to make this a success. I feel like it's already a success, to be honest. I feel like it's something that I'm just along for the ride. I just think I just had to say yes. This is not based about being brilliant. And this is what I told the guy. I told him that I didn't choose this, like filmmaking. I didn't choose filmmaking. It chose me. And I didn't choose this idea. It chose me. It chose me, and I am surrendering to it. And I'm willing to go and ride this and not try to control it like I tried to control Soul Damage. So, well, I'm going to give you all a few more minutes. If there are not any other questions, I'm going to get off, but I'm going to give a few more minutes in case that I don't, because it's a little behind, I'm a little ahead from Facebook and YouTube, but we're going to give it a little more time. So, but thank you all. Thank y'all for coming out here with me tonight. Thank you all. I feel a lot better. I felt horrible in the beginning. I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it through because those feelings were just that strong. They were just that real. But I think when I got to the place when I realized, this is not about me. when it hit me again, listening to the song "Wonderful," this is not about me, man. This is so much better. I mean, I'm just a vessel being used in this. And I think when I got back into that alignment, I started to feel that joy bubble back up. Tisha, keep paving the way. We'll follow the trail of success. It's a blessing to us. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Because I do want this to be of value. I know my reasons for doing this is to grow and leave a breadcrumb for the kids, leave a breadcrumb for any of you all who are thinking, oh, I can't do something ridiculous. Because if you thought being a filmmaker was ridiculous and thought that was something, this is totally ridiculous. We're talking about disrupting a system with a technology that doesn't even exist. And you used to always hear me say, I have no formal training as a filmmaker. I absolutely don't have any training as far as tech is concerned. I never thought I'd be in the tech space, but this is where I am. And I'm here to tell you that this is going to work. I'm here to tell you that we're going to succeed. I'm here to tell you that we're going to win. And it's not because I'm so talented. It's not because I'm so blessed. And it's not because I'm any different than you. The only thing that I may be different in is that I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes. And I am doing this. And I'm willing to do it ugly. I'm willing to do it falling forward. I'm willing to do it confused. I'm willing to do it scared. I'm willing to do it embarrassed. I'm willing to do it with guilt. I'm willing to do it. And I think that's the only difference between you and I at this moment is that I'm saying yes and that I'm willing to go. So thank you all so much. Thank you for being here with me at this moment. Thank you for giving me this space to process what I was feeling and give me this place to practice my pitch. I love you all. Thank you all, and have a wonderful night.